Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how the church thought Pokemon was used for summoning demons. But before we talk about that, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because these videos actually take a really long time to make and you'd be doing me the greatest favor if you actually did do those things. But without further ado, let's talk about how people thought Pokemon was being used on their children to summon demons. So once upon a time, there was a game named Pokemon. Now, Pokemon was a thing where people could play it on their Game Boys, and they could watch it, and it was basically a thing about how, these little creatures got captured in little balls, and you could train them, grow them up, and you could have them fight whoever you want. Some grown-ups actually looked at Pokemon and was like, okay, well, maybe this show is going to teach our kids stuff they don't want to know, and it might cause problems later in the future. It's Pokemon! And then evangelists actually looked at Pokemon and they're like, okay, our kids cannot see this because this show is teaching them how to summon demons. Which, by the way, I could see how you could get that out of Pokemon, but it's Pokemon. How do you look at that and is like, okay, yeah, this is gonna teach our children to summon demons? Or summoning demons is the thing that the evangelists talked about the most when it came to Pokemon. They believe that if the kids actually watched the show, that they would find a way how to summon demons and it'd just be really crazy and scary. By the way, okay, I know I said this like 2 times. It's Pokemon. Well, it's a kid show. Some evangelists actually said that playing the game, you could, call on bad spirits, and you could, have summon demons from the underworld or something like that. And the evangelists also said that the cards were demonic too. They said that the words and the symbolism on the Pokemon cards could summon bad spirits. It was what? And you gotta think, when something like this is going around, the parents got really worried for their children and they actually thought that Pokemon was being used to summon demons or whatever. So they actually stopped their children from playing Pokemon. Now, I'm no expert, but if this was me as a child and my favorite thing got taken away from me just because people claimed it as being demonic, I would have done something. I would have cried hard. Waterfall. And a lot of people stood up and was like, hey, Pokemon isn't demonic at all. It's just a kid's show. It's all made up. It's just a story about fun, adventure, and cool creatures. But the evangelists were like, I don't think so. And you gotta think, it wasn't just evangelists speaking out anymore. A lot of new nations actually started talking on the issue, and they were like, oh, it could be used to summon demons. It's a kid show. It's Pokemon. You gotta catch them all. How do you look at that and it's oh, okay, people can use this to summon demons? Some people actually started organized protests, and they had meetings about how dangerous Pokemon could actually be, which is really crazy when you think about it. And the thing just became a big, topic that people could argue about. People would just debate about it, and then go to sleep, wake up, and then do the same thing. It's Pokemon. What do you... And as time went on, the evangelists started getting louder. They claimed that it wasn't just, the show itself. If you watched it, and it would just open your heart to everything bad about summoning demons or whatever. And they just thought that, if they could get the kids to stop watching Pokemon, then it would be all good. But if they kept watching it, then it would just be terrible. And some parents actually, didn't understand why Pokemon... Okay, for example, I know people are going to get on me being like, oh, it's pronounced Pokemon. I like saying Pokemon, okay? Pokemon! And then some parents started to wonder why Pokemon was bad at all. They didn't know. And, it was crazy when you think about it because, imagine looking at Pokemon and then being like, oh, this is demonic. And then the preachers started warning more about Pokemon. They looked at Mewtwo and was like... They didn't like how the name sounded. They thought Mewtwo, the Pokemon, they thought it sounded more like mutant or demon, which is, it's stupid. And then some churches actually held events where kids would bring their Pokemon cards and they would burn them, which I'm sure would burn a hole through their parents' pockets because they probably spent a lot of money on those cards. And then sooner or later, the media picked up on this whole ordeal on Pokemon. And what happened was they would hold TV shows debating on whether or not Pokemon was actually bad. And then as more people started hearing the warnings, parents just straight up banned Pokemon from their houses. Not kidding. They just destroyed their child's dream just because some people thought it was a sin of some sort. And schools were also in it too. Not for like religious purposes, but they were like, oh, it's distracting kids. And I'm a teacher. I don't like seeing children happy. That's why I became one. And you gotta think, while this is happening, the kids just like didn't know, like they were just like, oh man, we just like playing it. We don't, it's not like we worship it. Like it's just Pokemon. Like it's just so crazy when you think about it, because these kids just wanted to play a fun game and have fun, and these grown-ups, not all Christians agreed. Like some churches actually fought back and were like, yo, Pokemon is actually not bad at all. You guys just like pushing propaganda onto each other. And then more news stations or whatever started like getting more on the topic. A lot of people said it was sinful and that it was not good. And a lot of people said otherwise. And then the evangelists kept warning the parents, like they would say stuff like, your kid is being warped by the power of Pokemon, which is insane. Like, oh my goodness, bro. And then teachers would get tired of children arguing over Pokemon cards, so they just banned them completely. Not surprised. They're teachers. It's kind of what they do. They kind of just devoid children of happiness. And you gotta think, at this time, Pokemon fans are, like, pushing back. Like, they were like, yo, Pokemon isn't evil. It's not evil. It's gonna catch them all, you know. One preacher actually surprised everyone when he said that, like, Pokemon could actually be used to teach good lessons. And, you know, a preacher saying this and everybody else disagreeing, you know, yeah. Despite the controversy, okay, get it right, Pokemon actually became way bigger after that. Like, more TV shows came out, more cards. It was more bigger than ever. Like, it was crazy. And then parents and, like, churches started worrying about new stuff, like violent video games and Harry Potter. Not joking, they worried about Harry Potter. By the early 2000s, the people stopped saying Pokemon was like a not violent video game. They just stopped caring. Yeah! That was the video. Yeah. Did you guys enjoy the video? Okay, that's cool. But yeah, I feel like that's the video. That's about it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because these videos actually take a really long time to make, and you'd be doing me the greatest favor if you actually did do those things. By the way, I'm sorry if I felt kind of like not as hyper. These videos take a lot to do, but yeah, I feel like that's about it. Yeah, I thank you, I love you, and God bless.